Smith. Even though this is a sad occasion, it is intended to be a celebration. I look around the room and it's so pleased and proud to see so many people here. Willie himself would certainly have loved to be here too. There will be an opportunity at the end for anybody else who might want to get up and say a few words to do so. Before we get into the tributes, I just want to pass along a few words of thanks on behalf of the family. So, going back to the unfortunate evening, Kelly really wanted to express thanks to the team of first responders who came to their house that night. In particular, thanks to Shauna Park and her team from the RNC. Also, to their next door neighbor, Darren Sakery, who saw what was going on. He was the first person there. Stayed with Kelly for those first difficult few minutes. Also want to thank again the Royals organization for the lovely tribute that was given yesterday afternoon's game. It was really nice. And finally, last but not least, special thanks to Max and the Civic Center team, Willie's work family, for everything you've done for the family these last couple of days and facilitating this wonderful event. So thank you for that. So the first tribute will be given by an old friend of Willie's and a good friend of mine, Scott Ryan. Scott?
Forgive me if I fumble through this a bit, but I'll do my best. Friends, family, and loved ones, thank you all for being here today to celebrate the life of our dear friend, Willie Smith. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Scott Ryan. I'm here to share some words about my best friend, a man who meant so much to me and to you. Mine and Willie's connection, our family connection, lasted much earlier than I've ever met him. See, my mother, when she was 17, which was 70 years ago, babysitted Willie's father, Judge Smith. Fast forward 40 years, and me and some of my friends in our neighborhood were out playing street hockey. And when we played street hockey, we didn't have the proper equipment or anything like that. We got broken off sticks from the stadium and then went and bought plastic blades and nailed them in there. We had rocks for goalposts. And we heard about this kid that moved to our town, Judge's son, Stephenville. So how's he gonna fit in now? So as we're playing hockey, we see him approaching. Tall, skinny guy. Hey guys, you guys got room for one more? To which we said, not we, me. I said, we're playing 2-on-2, so if we let you in, one of us will have to sit out. To which Willie said, well boys, I've got a hockey net and my own goalie equipment. To which we said, welcome aboard. That's when we started. Willie had a presence that could fill any room. He was a beacon of warmth and a source of infectious laughter, though much of it was self-generated by his infamous goofy jokes. You couldn't help but smile at his humor because that was just Willie. In high school, we used to go to his house after school, play video games, look at hockey cards. He He'd always have a snack. He introduced me to hard cheese. I never ever. So when I go to his house, he'd say, "You want some cheese?" And I'd say, "Yeah." So he'd always give me the first slice of cheese. So I'm like, a couple times I asked him, and I'm like, well, "Why do you always give me the first slice?" He said, "Well, it's just, it's manners, good host." So that went on through high school. So end of high school, he finally tells me the reason he gave me the end cut a piece of cheese because it was the moldiest piece. Willie, my best friend, called me every year for my birthday. Never on my birthday. My birthday was March 15th, and famously, March 17th, he would call me and say, "Happy birthday." And I'm like, "You jerk, you know my birthday's March 15th. He did this constantly. Beyond his humor, Willie was a man defined by his passion, dedication, and he loved sports. Sports and more sports. Our connection was forged on the basketball court, where we played in high school and then at the base gym. Spent many weekends playing in senior men's basketball tournaments. Willie was our ringer from Cornerbrook when he moved back to the West Coast. And Willie also liked to place bets. He loved gambling. So it's Game 7, it's the Western Conference Finals, and the Lakers are playing the Spurs. I'm a Lakers fan, Willie's a Celtics fan. Lakers are losing by 20 points at the end of the third quarter, and Willie calls me. "Your team sucks. They're going to lose." I said, "You know what, Willie? I got a feeling the Lakers are going to come back and win this game." To which he said, "Well, I bet you a dozen of beer they don't." I said, "Okay, deal, I'll make that bet." So lo and behold, Fisher hits the shot with 0.4 seconds left to go, and the Lakers win Game 7. Immediately I went and I picked up the phone to call Willie to gloat, and of course he didn't pick up the phone. I go back to high school. When we were playing basketball, I had a ping pong table in the basement. So Willie started playing ping pong with me. So he started out, he wasn't very good, but he was dedicated. He got really good really quickly. So again, Willie being the betting man, when he got good enough, he started saying, "Let's play for $1." I said, "Okay." So then everything after that was double or nothing. Double or nothing. Double or nothing. The end of that summer, Willie owed me $1,000. So I guess I'll have to consider that debt settled now. But the memories of his competitive spirits are priceless. But $1,000, Liam, Ben, double or nothing. I think. Willie's intelligence and ability to argue a point weren't just for the court. His sharp mind and quick wit were always put to good use, or so he liked to think so. Willie had an enormous heart, and his kindness touched everyone he met. He invested his time and his heart into the people he cared about. But more than anything, Willie was dedicated to his family. Every phone call we had was filled with updates about Taylor, Liam, Ben, and Kelly. The center of his world and the heart of his home was his dedicated and devoted wife, Kelly. Their love is a testament to true partnership. Together they built a beautiful life and raised their 3 incredible children. And in recent years, Willie's heart was completely captured by his granddaughter, Hattie, who brought him a new kind of light and happiness. Willie, my friend and brother from another mother, I thank you for being a groomsman in my wedding and for asking me to be a groomsman in yours. I thank you for all the memories at the cabin in Bombay. Thank you for asking me to be the godfather to your son, Ben. Ben, I'll always be here for you, your brother, and your sister. Willie, your spirit lives on in every terrible joke we hear and tell, every basketball and hockey game we watch, and in love and laughter of your understanding wife, Kelly, and your brilliant, beautiful children, Taylor, Liam, and Ben. Rest in peace, my friend. I love you. I miss you. Go Habs.
Thanks, Scott. Very nice. So it just occurred to me that I didn't introduce myself when I got up here first. My name is Pat Hetfish. Willie and I go way back, but I'll tell you a bit about that now in a moment. So I've known Willie since we were both frosh at former St. John's College resident at Munn in St. John's. I remember meeting him and thinking, who is this guy? He's confident, outgoing, talkative, maybe a little brash. Over the course of that first semester, as he and I spent more time together, it became clear that although our personalities are very different, we had a lot in common. We shared a love of sports and competitive pursuits in general. It was not long before he and I were good buddies, but we also became bitter rivals. Most of our time together was spent in some sort of a contest, playing one-on-one basketball, ping pong, cribbage, or anything else that came along to give one of us the opportunity to gloat over the momentous victory. Although that rivalry was the centerpiece of our early relationship, something else is happening that we probably didn't even realize at the time. We were becoming very close friends, and we cared a lot for each other. There's certainly been times back then and over the years when I needed someone to lean on, and Willie was always there for me. And I tried to be that for him as well. So, as I was gathering my thoughts for this tribute, I started searching my memory for a couple of good stories to add a bit of color. Shouldn't be too hard after 30 plus years of fun and friendship. Right. It's harder than I thought. For one thing, turns out I don't have a very good memory. I'll illustrate that further in a moment. All the stories that I could recall seem to fall into one of two categories. Not appropriate for this occasion. Or some funny story that usually ended with me being the butt of the joke. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to pick a couple from bucket number 2. So I mentioned cribbage. We played a lot of crib. And quickly, for anybody who's not familiar, crib is a card game played on a racetrack-like board. The goal of the game is to be the first one to get 120 points or holes in the game. So a couple of years after Willie and I moved out of residence, Willie, Kelly, and I, and my girlfriend at the time, we moved into a nice furnished house on Bonaventure Avenue, also in St. John's. There were 2 bedrooms in the house. One was elegantly decorated with a fireplace and a nice big king bed on the 2nd floor. And the other one was a stark, drafty walk-in freezer on the 3rd floor. So as was our way, we sat down to the crib board to determine who would get the nice room. So we played our game of crib, and pardon the expression, he left me in the shithole. Which means I was at 119 when he got to 120. I nearly perished that winter. Fast forward a couple more years, and Willie was sleeping on my couch for a few weeks. I guess he was in between places or something. I had a 1-bedroom apartment in the East End. Anyways, it was that time that Kelly became pregnant with Taylor, so Willie needed some more suitable living arrangements. What happened next I can only explain as an ill-advised attempt to even the score from before. We played crib from my apartment. And did he not leave me in the shithole? So we always honored our bets, so I packed up my stuff and moved in until I moved in. True story. Many years later, I think maybe 5 years ago now, Willie and I and a few others from our golf group had just finished playing around at Humber Valley Resort. We were having a meal in the clubhouse when, for some reason, the topic of mine and Willie's weddings came up, with Willie noting that he and I had been each other's best man. Wrong. I reminded Willie that I was not his best man and that he had given that honor to Scott Ryan, whereas I was the MC at the reception. He adamantly disagreed, but I was certain. So naturally, we agreed to determine who was right, and I'm pretty sure we put $20 out for good measure. A few minutes later, he turns his phone around to me and showed me a picture that Kelly had texted him of me with Susan Bess, who you'll hear from in a bit. Susan was the maid of honor, and Kelly and Willie signing the wedding register. Got me again. Anyways, I thought that was the end of that story, but no. Anyways, I have to take a bit of a detour at this point in the story just to say, one of my favorite things about Willie is he was really thoughtful and generous. Anytime he traveled somewhere interesting, he would always come back with some cool keepsake for me, something that would be meaningful for me personally. Of course, his generosity extended to everyone in his circle. Anyway, this Christmas he showed up with a gift bag for me. Anticipating another neat gift, I reached into the bag and saw that it was a snow globe. Okay. As I take a closer look, I realized that he had gone to the trouble of having the snow globe made with that wedding picture inside. Got me again. I have to believe that I came out the winner a few times myself, but if Willie were here, he would say, "No, Pat, not even once." Another great thing about Willie is how he brought people together. And again, look at everybody here today. I look with gratitude at the wonderful circle of friends that I have today, and I can honestly say it would be much, much smaller but for Willie. He loved connecting people whom he thought would click, always giving the most complimentary introductions and sharing a bit about them to help facilitate a connection. Moreover, he and Kelly, of course, loved hosting friends at their home or at the cabin, and always made an extra effort to help any newcomers feel welcome and find connections with friends and family. As I say this, I think about many of the most important people in my own life, like my golf buddies, extended Colburn family. He gave me many of these relationships, and not just incidentally, he made a point of it. I'll always be thankful for that. Of course, Willie was not without his foibles. One for which he had a well-earned reputation was that he could be, let's say, chronologically challenged. Some of you have heard me say before that if I ever write my memoirs, they'll be called Waiting for Willie. Now, to be fair, he got better in this regard over the years. Even, to a few weeks ago, he'd occasionally, when he's about to tee off on the golf course, standing over his ball, he'd step back and say, "Boys, listen to this," and launch into a story that always ended with someone saying, "Willie, you're up." Perhaps some people might find that annoying, but he had earned enough grace that it just became part of the Willie experience, which always provided fodder for jokes and good-natured ribbing. Another aspect of Willie's character that I deeply admire was how good a family man he was. Truly devoted to Kelly, Taylor, Liam, and Ben. I had the privilege of watching those kids grow up, and I saw firsthand that they were given every opportunity to have fun and excel at what they enjoyed. He and Kelly also empowered them with their own strength and independence, as is readily apparent in the smart, mature, impressive adults there today. He was so proud of you guys. So much more I could say about Willie, but his professional and academic achievements, his contribution to the community, how great he always was to my own family. But I just can't stay up here all day, and I probably can't just do it justice anyway. Perhaps it's trite to say that someone was larger than life, but I feel those words apply to Willie. He brought this big presence to wherever he went, and he made even larger, deeper impacts on us in many ways. Sadly, that presence will be missing now. Missing, but never forgotten. A gaping hole has been blown in my world. I know I'm far from alone in feeling that way. He was my best buddy and my brother. I loved him and I miss him badly. The feelings of loss and sadness are unavoidable, but I can't help but think of the joy and friendship he embodied, and despite the pain. Celebration of his life is even more important. We are all richer for having had Willie in our lives. Let's take this time to remember Willie, how he lived, and let's take care of each other. Tell a few stories, laugh, and have some fun as he would have wanted. Next up, we'll hear from another dear friend, Willie's and mine, Brian King.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here today. I've known Willie for almost 30 years. We met through Kelly and the King Colburn family connection. Willie was too my best friend. I'm honored to be here, able to be here to share a few memories with you as we celebrate his life together here today. As you all know, Willie was a pretty unique guy. Darla got a text from a mutual friend this week who described him as one of a kind in all the best ways. And I think that was pretty accurate. He knew what his priorities were, often beat to his own drum, and had his own clock we affectionately called Willie time. On one of our many golf trips with friends, this time to Arizona, Willie, Kelly, Darla, and I decided to take a break from golf and do a day trip to Sedona. We had an excellent day, hiked in the mountains, took in the local sights, and ended the day with a flight of beer at a local pub. At the pub, we heard about this small community called Jerome that was perched on the top of a mountain about an hour away. Despite the late hour and the fact that all the attractions would likely be shut down, we decided to make the trek there. It was a fun side trip, but then a bit terrifying as the roads were so narrow and winding. It felt like you were about to drive off a cliff in a few places, but we made it. Through his Google searching en route, Willie had discovered that there was a restaurant in Jerome that was famously known for its outstanding brisket. Willie knew that Pat, also on the trip with us back at our place, loved brisket, and that he had to get some for him. We tried to find the restaurant and couldn't. By this time we were exhausted and still had a good couple of hours to get back to our Airbnb. And we were all convinced that the place would be closed anyway, as everything around us clearly was. But Willie persisted. We had no choice but to let him. Darla, Kelly, and I went back to the car and waited. And sure enough, 15 minutes later, Willie returned. Bags of brisket, macaroni and cheese, enough to feed our whole gang. He had found the place, knocked on the door, told whatever story he needed to get them to reopen, cleaned out whatever product they had still on hand. And later that night, Pat had a wonderful piece of brisket, which I know he enjoyed very much. Yes, Willie could beat to his own drum. Some might even go so far as to say he could be a little stubborn. During our time in Arizona, another day, the four of us decided at this time to hike Camelback Mountain in Phoenix, famous attraction there. It was a great day. It was a popular hike, very crowded, lots of people. The way up had a few steep sections. One area in particular was a bit sketchy, but there were people everywhere navigating without hesitation, so we proceeded, and we made it up to the top. Darla and I were surprised that when we were about to head back down, Willie told us that he was a bit skeptical about going back over that sketchy section, but no worries, he had found an alternate route down. It touted to be much easier. His plan was that he and Kelly would go that way, Darla and I would return the sketchy way, and drive to where the new route ended up to pick them up. So that's what we did. Darla and I descended back to the car, drove to his exit point, and waited. And waited. And waited. We were a little worried that something may have gone wrong, or that the trail ended in a different place. There was no cell service out there, but before we got too panicked, Kelly emerged with Willie close behind. Got in the car, Willie told us that the alternate route had turned out to be 10 times sketchier than ours, and that he decided he could not do that trail down either. He said, "Brian, I very quickly concluded that the only solution was that I would simply stay there on top of the mountain, and that Kelly should go down to meet us, enjoy the rest of the day, and I'd figure something out and catch up later." Of course, in the end, Kelly turned up her powers of persuasion, which I know she's had to do on more than one occasion, and managed to eventually convince him that he could not live the rest of his life on the mountain. So that's what put them behind. Excuse me, guys. Okay? Yep, one moment. Someone's okay there.
Shit, we got 2 minutes. He's talking. It's okay. Is it Douglas? It's Nick. Okay.
Warm in here too. Still looks pretty pink. Maybe I don't want to live longer. Somebody get some water. Someone's coming water here now. It's okay. Let me get that towel. Here we go. It's really warm. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Gina, she's a doctor. Stay down. You're good. Yeah. Oh, that's all right. Oh, that's all right. I got some water. Okay. Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, come in, Mom.
Okay.
Come over.
You're right.
Still not colored.
It is data.
No, it is colored.
Yeah, I know. We need to bring you in and get you checked, okay, honey?
Go ahead.
There's that before.
Depend on your parking lot there.
Dispatch an ambulance to the upper parking lot of the city center, please.
Yeah, you're going to for a second, yeah.
before you got any more info.
Yes.
Okay? Sure okay? Sure okay? Where to go? Yeah, so, Willie got down off the hill, thanks to his wife, which was great.
You never had so many women's around you.
And just to wrap up that one, so that's what puts him behind with a big grin. I was quick to tell Willie that on our way down, Darrell and I discovered there was actually another path that completely circumvented that sketchy part, and even had a stairs and a handrail. To which Willie replied, "Oh, you're kidding me. That sucks, Brian." We love to laugh, and we were often the butt of each other's jokes. Like what Pat, this guy we're talking about on occasion. One evening, I'll share this little story with you. One evening we had rented a chalet at Humber Valley with our golf buddies after a big day on the links. Willie was late to the after party, as he had some commitments actually back here at the Civic Center. And when he arrived, he found me out on the patio looking out over the golf course. He came to me and said, "Got a contest, Kingy. First one to find a golf ball, bring it back here wins." I said, "You're on. How much?" $5, he said. Deal. Called him with $5, laid it on the table. He said, 3, 2, 1, go. Boom, I was down over the stairs, took off down the driveway. I'm sure I lost my flip-flop, but I didn't care because I wasn't feeling much pain at that point. But I think he knew it. Anyway, down over the grass, out onto the golf course. I might have been there, I don't know, 45 seconds, found my ball. Turned around, beat it back the way I came. Back up over the stairs, feeling pretty good. Willie was sitting there on the patio, looking at a golf ball. I said, "Really? How did you do that, Willie?" He stood up, walked over to the table, picked up the $5, handed me a beautiful brand new Pro V1. You can hear him. "Back in my van, Kingy." I'm gonna miss that laugh. Yeah, just to clue up. Back, I guess, during COVID, a couple of months into COVID, it was a tough time for all of us, of course, a lot of us, isolation in our bubbles and things. And Willie was turning 50 a couple of months into COVID. So I decided that, you know what, maybe I can put a few words to paper and try and write a little poem. Not that I'm a poet by any stretch, but I thought it might be a good idea to see if I can write my buddy's spirits a little bit. So I put a few words to paper, and I know he really appreciated it. Family enjoyed it as well, so they thought it might be nice for me to share it with you here today. So here goes. Touchdown one spring day, a new Irish rover. Off he went in his pocket, a 4-leaf clover. He grew up instead with hockey and hoops on an American base without any troops. Ventured to town to study at Munn. He knew soon after that he'd found the one. "Who's this, Mom?" asked Kelly, "you brought home with you?" "It's Willie," said Kelly. "He likes broccoli, too." Then a chance encounter on Bloomington grass. "Who's that?" said Willie. "He just kicked my ass." A new family he'd found, a well-rounded crew. At his wedding, a rock star singing U2. Steady broke 3 kids and his special dog Buddy. Then whoops, no gypsum. Things got a little muddy. Back to town to garner his MBA, young family beside him every step of the way. Rerouted again, back on the best coast. Time at the pond is what he liked most. Laughing and singing and dancing with Cobe. Getting up at 11, spend all day in his robe. Until it came time to pull out the wharf. "Where's Willie?" asked Taylor. "He's napping, of course." And that guy from the golf course, he was there too. Just 3 cabins over, looking for his shoe. Now over the years, we've had a few drinks, side by side at the fire, and out on the links. We've done Phoenix and Punta and Dunn's River too. Glad you made it to Myrtle, Black Bike Week, who knew? You've made 50 trips around the sun. Your hips are gone, but there's still lots to be done. I look forward to much more golf and poker, Super Bowls, hiking, and your turkey smoker. Fun times at the cabin until the wee hours with our wonderful families of knotty pines and sunflowers. And maybe Friday golf too. I'll just take a floater. Your friend till the end, the most improved boater. Love you, Willie.
I've heard that poem before, that's awesome. Okay, so next up to the mic, Susan Best. Susan, an old friend of Kelly's and certainly a friend of all of ours now.
All right, guys. Probably not going to make you laugh like they all did, but do my best. Yeah, so I've been friends with Kelly since, gosh, we don't even need to talk about age here, but it's been pretty much all our lives. I don't remember not being friends with Kelly. So I was by her side when Willie came on the scene, and from day one, it was a beautiful love story. Not perfect, but that's how true love goes. So Kelly asked me to share something that we thought was special, and it's my privilege to be here. To give a little background, I'm from Porterbrook, but I live in Texas, and I've been there for 27 years. The South USA is often called the Bible Belt. It didn't take me long to find my faith and love for Jesus. This has led to many interesting conversations with Willie. Most of you have probably been blessed with the opportunity to engage in conversation with Willie and witnessed his love of good debate. He loved words, and he loved using them to express his many opinions. What you may not know is that he was a spiritual man too. He was deeply inquisitive, always searching for answers, seeking truth. And over the past few years, we've had some really enlightening, meaningful talks. And after Willie's dad, Robert, passed away, and his beloved dog, Mika, and then with the birth of Hattie, Willie's desire became almost a need to make sense of it all. It's led to a deep dive into reading Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle and others. What Willie didn't know is that he's been on my number one on my prayer list. Yes, I have a prayer list for several years. The prayer being that he would turn to the Bible for answers. So whenever we would get together, I would share my 2 cents, and we would go back and forth on creation and the wonders of the world and what it means to live like Jesus did, to live in the now, and surrendering control, because Lord knows what we plan for ourselves isn't what life has planned for us, as we're sadly experiencing right now. So on May 9th of this year, Willie's birthday, I sent him a text saying, "Happy birthday, you're 55 and a puppy, life is so good." And it was with immense joy that I read his reply. "Susan, for the first time in my life, I have a favorite Bible verse. Psalm 46:10, be still and know that I am God." My response was, "Oh, Willie, that's my favorite too. It makes me so happy to hear that. What a gift to yourself." I was genuinely elated, so much so that I sent it to my family to share in the joy. So fast forward to October, just last month, when we were home for a visit. Tammy, Sean, Kelly, Willie, Scott, and myself were sitting around the kitchen table at the Smiths having yet another political debate, which kind of got rowdy. It was fun. Willie pulled me aside into the living room and shared with me his latest spiritual findings. We left the conversation in agreement that ultimately, whatever this life means, we are in it for a short time. We must squeeze every ounce of life from it. In the end, we have no control. We just need to surrender. That was the last conversation we ever had. If there's any comfort in this situation, it's that Willie indeed did live his life to the fullest. I can't think of anyone who loved and was truly grateful for what he had like Willie. So the clincher in this, the truly God part in my mind, happened as I touched down in Deer Lake Thursday evening, I was checking my phone when I was able to get on Wi-Fi, and one of my Instagram messages was from a Christian influencer I follow, and this was the message. Dear God, help me to slow down today and breathe in your peace. When I'm pulled in too many directions, remind me that your presence is my resting place. Teach me to let go of what I can't control, focus on what you've placed in front of me. Strengthen my mind, steady my heart, so I can walk through this day with calm. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46. That was Willie greeting me. Now, if you wouldn't mind bowing your heads and join me just in a short prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for these people gathered here today and for the people who made this possible at the Civic Center in the city. Thank you for the opportunity to honor a friend and loved one, Willie. Thank you for his life and for blessing us with our part in it. We will miss him dearly. We pray for your loving hands and healing of all of us left behind. We need you. Please be with Kelly, Taylor, Mark, and Patty, Liam, Ben, and all of the family. Give them the strength to endure and to live like Willie would have wanted. In Jesus' name.
92-year-old female kind of raised herself 2 days ago. She's bruising on her chest.
Beautiful, Susan, thank you. Kelly and family, I'd like to say a few words.
I don't, but we just wanted to come up here and stand up to thank every single one of you here today. I can't even see you all, my eyes are, but it's kind of fitting that it's here at Civic Center. You know, Willie spent so much of his time here, and he loved everyone that he touched up here, and everyone that he worked with, his family, his friends, his golf buddies who were around here all over the place. These last few days have been the hardest of my life. And we've had so many messages, so much food, so many friends that have reached out. I can't even, I'm sorry. It's the first time I think she's seen me cry. So I'm sorry. It's all good. It's all good, man. But yeah, on behalf of myself, Taylor and Liam and Ben and Emma and Mom and Dad and everybody, my siblings, his siblings, I can't thank each and every one of you enough. And yeah, I miss you.
So, that's it for the planned speeches, but as I said at the outset, if there's anybody who'd like to come up to the mic and say a few words, please make your way up.
Hi, I'm terrible at this. Unlike Willie, I can't stand talking to many people. Willie, I'm Janice, Kelly's sister. Willie came into my life when, I was a teenager, big jerk, really. He was such a weirdo. That's the way I felt about him at first. Not good enough for my sister, that was for sure. But he grew on me like he grows on everybody else. And I wanted to thank him for loving my sister fiercely. Right from the pit of his stomach. For giving me 3 amazing two nephews, sorry, I messed that up a little. And the greatest little great niece ever. He completed us. He was and I'm gonna enunciate this very well, master debater. Please don't confuse that with anything else. He would definitely say your sister is a master debater. My girls are telling me to shut up. And I probably will end on that note. Again, Willie, thank you for loving all of us and being the best people in the world. And you don't say that enough, so everybody just give each other a hug and make sure you tell them you love them more every day. Because I wish I could do that one more time. Sorry. I love you, Willie, and I miss you. Thanks.
For those that don't know, I'm Rob Ball, and for 6 years, for lack of a better word, I was Willie's work wife. Willie hired me here as the operations manager back in 2006. And we started off, you know, Willie was my boss, but like Willie does, quickly you become his friend. And once you're Willie's friend, you're always Willie's friend. And I may not know some of these people, like Scotty. I've heard lots of stories telling me about the time, you know, Willie dressed up as Santa and stole the wine from the communion closet I think it was in high school. But not only that, he stole the wine, but then he got a ride home with the priest afterwards. That was Willie. But we quickly became friends, and I guess since I heard the news, I've been thinking about Willie and our relationship. And I thought about one word that described Willie, and that was dedicated. 20 years he spent, and it's hard to believe that this is the first time I've been back in the meeting room since I left. And it's for my friend's memorial. But he was dedicated. He was dedicated to the center. 20 years, and people might not realize behind the scenes, but I can remember there being breaks between Christmas and New Year's where Willie would be on the phone saying, hey, we've got 3 days ice time. I'm going to call Juan and see if he'll run a camp. But it wasn't because there was any benefit in it to Willie's pocketbook or anything, but it was for the center. It was selling that ice time. We were out beating the streets for conferences, those sorts of things. He was dedicated to the people and to this place. And you've already heard he was dedicated to sports. Him and I both shared a love for the Canadians, which we immediately bonded over. But quite quickly, I found myself becoming a college football fan. And Willie was dedicated to sports, so much so that he had an encyclopedic knowledge of college football. I mean, I didn't have a clue about these 5-star recruits and recruiting classes, and Willie would be telling me about them. I was like, what is he talking about? And then blew my mind when I found out that originally college football had no playoffs, that the national championship was decided by rankings, but that was all because of Willie. And I sat down literally on Saturday afternoon and watched Notre Dame lay a beating on Pittsburgh, and I was thinking to myself, I wanted to text him and say, we've got the 2 best running backs in college football right now. But that was Willie. He was dedicated, and Scotty mentioned basketball. I can remember him talking, and I see Eddie Joyce here. And I remember these stories Willie told me. He said, Rob, and it was mentioned in his obituary, Rob, I didn't make the provincial basketball team. I didn't play in the Canada Games because I was so skilled. or because I had all this talent. No, he was quite serious about it. He said, I made it because I spent hours and hours in the base gym shooting. And he said, Eddie Joyce, he said, was often there with me. I can remember Eddie, him saying, played basketball with Eddie. He said, I made the team because I was dedicated to it. And I decided to make that my goal. And he shot, and he shot, and he shot until he was, you know, a phenomenal shooter. And his golf buddies, of course, you know, skins games, the trips to Cabot Links, you know, all of those, he'd come back regaling. You know, he's so dedicated to sports. And I had actually a couple of people in St. John's that we share mutual friends reach out with me from the basketball community, Kevin O'Leary and Bob Rich, you know, saying we knew the family so well, Robert and Ella, and especially Michael had played with Kevin O'Leary's son. So Willie was so dedicated to sports, but most of all, he was dedicated to his family. And that was so evident. He talked with reverence about the annual Christmas turkey smoke. You know, at the Colburns, it was like some mythical event that happened, right? The turkey smoke was one of his favorite parts of the year, or Labor Day at the cabin. But of course, the kids and their exploits were probably his greatest joy. And when Hattie was born, I texted Willie and congratulated him. And do you know what his words to me were? She's perfect. She's perfect, right? That sums up Willie. Family was everything. And one of my favorite memories was coming back after Christmas break here at the Pepsi Center, and everybody knows Willie's love for his hockey rink. And he came back, and that particular year we had a bit of a cold snap in December. And Willie came back and he said, Rob, it was fantastic. He said, the rink was ready. He said, on Christmas Day, he said, I sat down with a cup of coffee, you know, in the back of their house in the kitchen with the table looking out the window. And he said, I watched the kids out on the rink. He said, it doesn't get any better than that. And for me, that's, I think, sums up my friend Willie. That's what life was about, his friends, his family. So again, Willie, Godspeed. And as everybody has said, he's the type of person that once you meet, he leaves an impact on your life.
Anybody else to say a few words? Seeing any hands or anyone moving? Okay, well, I guess then this concludes the talking at the microphone part of our celebration. There's food and coffee and beverages at the back of the room. Encourage folks to stick around and have a bite to eat, share a few more stories, and you know, remember Willie. Thank you all for coming, and thank you, Willie.